everyone, I've got a video for you today. It's just a quick impressions, just first impressions on a fragrance. This one's marketed towards men and it's Pasha De Cartier Parfum. This was a release this year. I was sent this sample with a purchase and I kind of dismissed it. I didn't look at it properly and assumed it was the original Pasha, which I believe was released many years ago. And actually, when I looked at it properly recently, I was having a little tidy up and I realised it said Parfum. So I looked it up, saw that it was only released this year, and I thought it might be interesting to throw out a little review on it. I'm going to give it a little wearing just on the one wrist because it's not really going to be my kind of thing. It's a men's marketed fragrance, and I think it's going to be a little bit heavy, maybe a bit deep, a bit woodsy, or even leathery. I can't remember the notes. All I know is it's got sandalwood because it says it in here. And a new fragrance opus with a bold and deep signature carried by the warmth of sandalwood, a sensual and confident amber scented wake. When you first spray it, without even lifting my wrist to my nose, it smells like a spicy, woodsy, smells like vetiver. I'm not sure if it is or not. It smells like a vetiver, dry vetiver. Sorry for the lighting, I'm in the conservatory. The sun's coming and going. Sorry about my face, no makeup. I'm about to go for a walk, can't be arsed. Hopefully you don't mind. It's not about me after all, it's about the perfume. So let's bring it up. Wow. I think I get a little bit of cumin in here. Only a little bit, it's not ruining it for me. So it's kind of a fresh spicy, a mixture of different spices. A bit of cumin. Cumin gives it, cumin can smell a little bit like curry and a little bit like body odour. And it's kind of like a woody, dry curry / body odour scent. I feel like I'm getting that in here. Not too strong, as I say, but it's noticeable. I'm not picking up on sandalwood yet. I'm guessing there's a hint of citrus. It's just giving it a lift, not there for any other reason, but possibly just something freshening it up ever so slightly. Mostly it's a spicy, woody, slightly sweetened scent. A vetiver, I feel like it's a vetiver, a dry vetiver, some spices, and it's listed as an amber fragrance. And I think I can just get a slightly warm, sweet, almost balmy thing that's coming through. Yeah, it's quite nice actually. It's not too dry and it's not too masculine, if that makes sense. It's not I could wear this at the moment. I could wear this as my fragrance. It's probably a bit too spicy for me, but it's nice. If a man was wearing this around me, I would credit him with smelling a little bit unique. It's not your typical modern day fragrance at all. It's got a little bit of an old school feel, which I guess is because it's a flanker to a longer serving fragrance, Pasha. It does feel masculine. It's got a manly feel about it because it is a woody, spicy fragrance. There's nothing in here that's softening it up or taking it in a different direction. So it doesn't smell floral, doesn't smell candy, sweet or sugary in any way. But that cumin in there would stop me from wanting to wear it myself. On someone else, I wouldn't find it off-putting. If I sort of imagine it in the air, because when you smell a fragrance on another person, you don't generally go up to their skin unless they're your partner or a closer friend or family member and you're allowed, you have permission. But in general, when you meet people out and about and you pass by people, you only catch a whiff of it. So I always like to just, particularly if it's a fragrance that I'm reviewing and I'm not necessarily considering it for myself, I do like to wave my wrist around in the air and then just catch a whiff like that. because that gives you a feel of what other people will get from you. And in the air, it's a much softer feel. The cumin isn't really that noticeable. It's a little bit sweeter, it's more transparent. Yeah, it has a slightly sunshiny feel actually. So I'm guessing there is some sort of maybe bergamot, some sort of citrus in here. I like this. I like this for a man, and I know, you know, we're always banging on about you can wear what you want, whether you're a man or a woman or however you identify, you should wear whatever you want. Totally stand by that. In my world and the way I grew up, there was a definite feel men's fragrances smelt a certain way, women's fragrances smelt a certain way. And I can't shift away completely from that. And this is how I would consider a masculine scent to smell, and it's kind of like that reassuring masculine. So it's not masculine scents that come out these days are really sweet. There's lots of things like tonka and almost bubble gummy notes and all sorts going on in men's fragrances today. Nothing wrong with that, but this is old school masculine, and I don't mean it smells old fashioned, but it's much more of a traditional masculine scent. It has a slightly clean element to it. I wouldn't call it barbershop, but it does feel like there's just a slight creamy shaving foam feel within all the other elements. So it's like, I don't know, I'm picturing my dad. My dad would wear very traditional men's fragrances, like one of his favourites was Dracar Noir, which is a very dark, spicy scent. And I'd put it like that. And imagining my dad, when I was a kid, my dad's maybe just got out the shower, so you can still smell the shower foam, you know, one of those green or blue coloured shower gels, like herbal. And then perhaps he's had a shave, so he's got the scent of the shaving foam, which is kind of creamy and soapy, and then he's sprayed on his woodsy masculine spicy scent, and you've put that all together. So it's this reassuring, in a way, reassuring dad scent, but not in a, you know, it could be any reassuring mature or grown up man. That's not to say you have to be 40 plus to wear it, absolutely not. But my guess is it's not going to appeal to probably anyone under 30 unless they're really open-minded about fragrances. But yeah, I like it. It's a really nice, spicy, woodsy, creamy, reassuring scent. So we're gonna go off for a walk, and then I'll come back with some further observations for you. We're about 40 minutes in, and what I'm noticing is everything's kind of blended together really nicely. Like all the ingredients have come together to almost merge as one. It's still woody and spicy, and there is still this slight cumin-like note, although that is calming down. And it's also getting a little bit mentholated. Not exactly minty, but you know how sometimes things can have like a slight minty feel. So I'm getting some of that. It's reminding me of something, and I don't know what it is. It's reminding me of a classic man's fragrance. I can't pinpoint it at the moment. If it smells like anything, it's, well, the nearest things I can compare it to are Chanel's Aiguiste, Yves Saint Laurent's Opium, because they're both woody, spicy fragrances, and it's in the same ballpark. It's not the same. And a little bit like Creed Spice and Wood, because Creed Spice and Wood has that vetiver feel, there's slightly spiciness, but it's a much more subtle. Creed Spice and Wood is more subtle and more translucent and slightly sweeter. So I hope that's helpful. I've just thought of something else. It's kind of like pine needles. Maybe that's what I'm thinking. It's reminding me of a forest floor, maybe a foresty kind of fragrance. That's maybe where the mentholated stuff is coming from. I'm not sure. I still haven't checked the notes, but yeah, it's giving me almost like a Christmassy, green fragrance feel, maybe a little bit like Burberry London for men. So yeah, it's got like a green element to it that's mentholated and has a light freshness, as well as the deeper woodsy sort of vetiver and the spices. It's a really interesting, really nice fragrance. Probably more of a spring, a colder spring, autumn type fragrance. Maybe also winter, but it's not mega heavy. But yeah, it's not really screaming any obvious particular season, but it just has the weight of the spices in the woods that lend it a little more colder weather probably. Just picking up on another aspect of it now, which is a sort of smoky, rubbery nuance. Not too strong, and it's quite sweet and it's blending in with everything else, but it's just a hint of a smoke that's almost a little rubbery. And whether it's something like a JACQUES note or birch tar perhaps, something like that. I think there's supposed to be leather in here from memory. There might be some leather in here. It's not smelling particularly leathery, but birch tar can sometimes is used sometimes to create a leathery note, but can smell more smoky than anything else. So it's just a hint of a smoky, rubbery nuance. And I'd say it's getting slightly sweeter, like the ambery sort of resin notes are coming through a little more now. We're about an hour into the wear. So further update, I feel like I'm not really getting that piney forest floor-like feel anymore, so that's gone quite quickly, and it's more of a woody, resinous, spicy, slightly smoky thing now. There is a sweetness in here, and I'm not entirely sure where it's coming from. Possibly the resins, they would certainly bring a sweetness, but it feels like there's more than that. Like maybe there's a hidden floral, maybe some rose, I'm not sure. It doesn't specifically smell rosy, but almost like has a fruity nuance. It's reminding me a little bit of Bulgari's Man in Black now, which is one of my favourite men's fragrances. I'm not sure if that's what it was reminding me of before, but that's what it's reminding me of now. I'm also getting some pencil sharpenings, which is a note I enjoy. The sandalwood is supposed to be based around a sandalwood note. I'm not getting the sandalwood I'm familiar with. So if you know sandalwood from Chanel's Egoiste or Guerlain Samsara, it doesn't smell like the sandalwood in those two fragrances. It's drier, a little more peppery. Maybe it's a different variety, maybe it's even a synthetic sandalwood, or there's a or fragrances can sometimes have a dead sandalwood, so that means that they harvest sandalwood trees that have already died, and that can come off drier and less sweet. So this is coming off like a drier, less sweet sandalwood, if in fact I'm even smelling sandalwood. It's more of a dry, peppery, almost slightly powdery woodsiness. None of that lovely creaminess that you can sometimes get with sandalwood. So my final thoughts then on Pasha Parfum. I was wearing it across 2 hours. That walk lasted 2 hours, so you heard what I had to say about the first 2 hours of the fragrance. When I came home, I did a few things, spent about an hour. I groomed Sweetie a little bit. Then when I groomed Sweetie, I needed to get in the shower because I was covered in her hair. I tried not to wash my wrist too much to see how the fragrance was, and it is still present on my wrist. As I say, I didn't scrub it, but it did get soaked. So it's still on my skin. That says to me it's probably got quite a good longevity. And in the end, I feel like it's drying down to a woodsy, resinous, slightly spicy ambery scent. It's not mega unique, but it is unique in terms of the things that are coming out in this current modern day perfume world. Lots of men's fragrances are leaning very sweet, or they have a lot of aroma chemicals in them, and lots of ambroxan and amber max, like the dry down of Sauvage seems to be in so many modern fragrances. I'm pleased to say I get nothing like that from this fragrance, and that is a massive thumbs up from me. So I really like this. It's not going to be the most unique thing that you've ever smelled. As I said throughout, there are little things it reminds me of in other fragrances, but as a whole, I think it's a solid release. It's a solid fragrance, really good quality, seems to have quite good lasting power and projection, and I recommend sampling it. So that's it then. Thank you so much for watching. See you in another video, I hope.